Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruchakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who taught us his truth. Shalom also to the Akim pushing this word in sincerity and in truth, and to the speckled bird across the four corners of the world, and to the few sisters who are listening to you. I say Shalom. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson on the brother Kadashia from the GMS Chicago camp, coming back at you with another lesson. And Lord willing, this be a straight to the point, concise lesson because I have a lot of information that I want to cover. But the next step in the prophecy that we're waiting for is in fact the MOTB, man. Before World War III and the nuclear destruction comes, all right, and before the coming of the second coming of who this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which is the second return of Yahushai, which is the Son of God. Before he comes, this MOTB system is gonna have to be put in place, man. All right, and we see ultimately, the system crumbling, so we know what's next, man. And what's next is in fact the MOTB, which if you're a newcomer, if you're a new listener, you most likely don't know what the MOTB is, man. All right, which, we either say MOTB or CHARAGMA or so on and so forth. We speak in code because ultimately if we say the whole phrase, our videos will get clipped, man. So we got to ultimately speak in code concerning this particular topic, man, because this is one of those topics that, Esau Edom doesn't like when information of it comes out, man, because, it pinpoints him in prophecy, all right, and it really shows who he is in the scriptures, man, all right. And also, too, look, man, these prophecies are really speaking loud and clear right now, man. The scriptures told us that at the end it shall speak and not lie. So right now we should be blowing the trumpet more than ever, especially on topics like the MOTB, man. I just seen a brother did a video how the brother GMS Watchman, he had did a video how it says WEF is now instructing world leaders to prosecute anyone criticizing digital wallet. So that that persecution is going to come down the pipe, man. And who are the main ones criticizing that so-called digital wallet? Who are the main ones criticizing the MOTB and the CHARAGMA and so on and so forth? It's the Israelites, man. We're the only ones blowing the trumpet on the CHARAGMA, man. So without further ado, let's get right into the scriptures, and Lord willing, this be an edifying lesson, man. It says Revelation 13:16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So there's going to come a time in the near future, man, where this devil is going to cause everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. It's not going to matter what tax bracket you're in. It's not going to matter whether you're a politician or you're broke or you're in prison or whatever it may be, man. He's going to cause everyone to get this. If you want to participate in society, well, this is the way how you're going to be able to participate in this economy and this ultimately this new world order. You see? And you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have that charagma, man. You see? And it's going to go inside your hand or your forehead, man. This devil, essentially what he's going to do is enslave you, man. All right? Because once these CBDCs get implemented and, this gets made mandatory, they're going to be able to control every financial aspect of what you do, man. Everything that you do, any move that you make, any purchase that you make, all right, they're going to have data on that. And they already have data on those things, man. All right? They already have information on all those things, man. All right? But what the CBDCs are going to do is that they're going to eliminate the middleman, meaning that what the CBDCs are gonna do is that they're gonna create almost like a link, a direct link between the Federal Reserve and a person, the people. So like let's say that person has a very critical opinion about certain policies that the government is doing, or they might be real critical and have very strong opinions about how America or Babylon the Great or whoever is supporting, Israel or whatever, man. If you speak against that, well, guess what? They're able to, you know, shut off your money because you obviously, you don't, you're speaking against the society, you're speaking against the order. So they could turn off your money, man. And that's what's gonna become reality real soon, man. Some big brother shit. All right. Big brother is watching, man. This devil is gonna be watching everything that you do, man, with this new MOTB system, man. It says the risks of CBDCs, why central bank digital currency shouldn't be adopted. It says it's by Norbert Mitchell and Nicholas Anthony. It says, what is a central bank digital currency? A central bank digital currency, or CBDC, is a digital national currency. Like paper dollars, a CBDC would be a liability of the Federal Reserve. So just like how, which, a lot of people don't know this, but it's becoming more common information. But the Federal Reserve is in fact a independent entity from the United States government, man. So just like paper dollars, the CBDC would be under their control as well. It says, unlike paper dollars, it would offer neither the privacy protections nor the finality that cash provides. That direct digital liability, a sort of digital tether between citizens and the central bank, makes CBDCs a radical departure from the digital dollars millions of Americans already use today. So basically, what the CBDC, what this digital money and this new MOTB system is gonna do is gonna create a digital tether between citizens and the central bank. Meaning, if you do anything that goes against their plans, goes against what they want to do, well, guess what? They could turn off your money, man. It says right here, while a CBDC would not offer any unique benefits to Americans compared to existing technologies, it would pose serious risks. For example, a CBDC could spell doom for what little financial privacy protections remain. We don't know who's using a $100 bill today, and we don't know who's using a 1,000 peso bill today. The key difference with the CBDC is the central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. So not only are they gonna have absolute control, but they're gonna have the technology to enforce it, man. So let's say they want to turn off your money because you've been speaking against certain things. They could do that, man. They're gonna have the technology to enforce it. Which the technology to enforce it is gonna be what? The MOTB, man. Which is gonna be inserted inside you. It's gonna be a brand of ownership. It's almost like, you're going to be owned by them. You see? It says, put simply, a CBDC would most likely be the single largest assault to financial privacy since the creation of the Bank Secrecy Act and the establishment of the third-party doctrine. The threat to freedom that a CBDC would pose is closely related to its threat to privacy. With so much data in hand, a CBDC would provide countless opportunities for the government to control citizens' financial activity. So now I'm going to show you that this devil does in fact have all that data in hand. This devil in fact does have all this information at his fingertips, and the missing link is you. The missing link is the people, man. Once this gets made mandatory, this devil is basically gonna have access to all this information and is gonna be able to make, almost like that movie, predict when you're gonna, you know, do a crime or do some bullshit, man. Or you have certain opinions and certain things. This devil already has all the information on you, man. It's only a matter of time before he makes the MOTB mandatory, and now he has access to everything about you, man. It says right here, this is from a book called The Power of Habit, and it's a self-help book that I read back in high school. But I remember this particular part from the book because it creeped me out, man. I remember when I read this back in high school, man, that shit creeped me the fuck out, man. Because even though it's a self-help book, Esau snitches on himself, man. Esau snitches on himself in this book. He says right here, Target wanted to take advantage of those individual quirks, but when millions of people walk through your doors every day, how do you keep track of their preferences and shopping patterns? You collect data, enormous, almost inconceivably large amounts of data. Starting a little over a decade ago, Target began building a vast data warehouse that assigned every shopper an identification code known internally as the guest ID number that kept tabs on how each person shopped. When a customer used the Target issued credit card, handed over a frequent buyer tag at the register, redeemed a coupon that was mailed to their house, filled out a survey, mailed in a refund, phoned the customer helpline, opened an email from the Target, visited Target.com, or purchased anything online, the company's computers took note. A record of each purchase was linked to that shopper's guest ID number, along with information on everything else they'd ever bought. Also linked to that guest ID number was demographic information that Target collected or purchased from other firms, including the shopper's age, so they know how old you are, whether they were married and had kids, which part of town they lived in, how long it took them to drive to the store, an estimate of how much money they carried in their wallet, and their home and mobile phone numbers. Target can purchase data that indicates a shopper's ethnicity, their job history, what magazines they read, if they'd ever declared bankruptcy, the year they bought or lost their house, where they went to college or graduate school, and whether they prefer certain brands of coffee, toilet paper, cereal, or applesauce. So basically, these devils have you figured out, man. They have you figured out. But the next thing that they need is an event to kick this system into place, man, because they're not going to be able to just, put it into place. They're going to need something to, basically, bring it into place, man. Because it says right here in this book called Behold the Pale Horse, right? It's from page 51. And I just want to read a little bit of this, man, because it's so heavy as it relates to the scriptures, and really, since we have the eyes to see, man, we see it plain as day. But these people in the world, they can't really see it, man. So now that this devil has all this information on you, which is not only Target, man. Target is not the only company that does this, man. It says right here, Target isn't alone in its desire to predict consumers' habits. Almost every major retailer, including Amazon.com, Best Buy, Kroger Supermarkets, 1-800-Flowers, Olive Garden, Anheuser-Busch, the U.S. Postal Service, Fidelity Investments, Hewlett-Packard, Bank of America, Capital One, and hundreds of others have predictive analytics departments devoted to figuring out consumers' preferences. You see? So it's not just Target, man. It's multiple different companies that are basically using this technology to figure you out, man. But with the MOTB, they're going to be able to track you completely, man. See, they're already tracking you with your phone. You start talking about certain things and then you start to get ads about it. But with the MOTB, you're gonna be connected to the Internet of Things, man. It's gonna be a digital tether between the citizens and the central bank. They're gonna basically be able to control you, man. You're not gonna be able to buy or sell unless you have this CHARAGMA, unless you have, you're part of the system. You're connected into it. All right. So now I want to read this, man, because it says right here, economic engineers achieve the same result in studying the behavior of the economy and the consumer public by carefully selecting a staple commodity such as beef, coffee, gasoline, or sugar, and then causing a sudden change or shock in its price or availability, thus kicking everybody's budget and buying habits out of shape. They then observe the shock waves which result by monitoring the changes in advertising, prices, and sales of that and other commodities. And you could see how they're doing that right now, man. Right now, you really think that Esau Edom isn't studying the behavior of people right now, man? Look at how people are acting right now, that the prices are going up on stuff. Look at right now how people are reacting right now, that they could barely pay their rent, they could barely afford housing, they could barely afford their car note, they could barely afford getting food and stuff like that. You got more and more Edomites posting TikToks of themselves crying, telling you how they can't fucking live, man, how they don't know how they're gonna survive, and they don't know how they're gonna make it to the end of the week, and so on and so forth. You think Esau Edom isn't monitoring those behaviors, man? And there's a reason why he does those things, man. Even going back to 2020, when that whole pandemic happened, you think Esau Edom wasn't studying people's behaviors, how they were acting all crazy, going up in them stores, buying all that toilet paper, going fucking crazy, man? This devil knows that these people, he knows what he has to do to make them fold and bend to his will, man. Which, what does he want? He wants people to take this MOTB, man. He's gonna cause everybody, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive this thing, man. You see? So let's keep reading. It says, the objective of such studies is to acquire the know-how to set the public economy into a predictable state of motion, right? And did we not just read that multiple companies are using predictive analytics to basically figure out consumers' preferences? So ultimately, Esau Edom, what he's doing with all this data, all this information, is his objective is to acquire the know-how to set the public economy into a predictable state of motion, or change even a controlled self-destructive state of motion, which will convince the public that certain expert people should take control of the money system and reestablish security rather than liberty and justice for all. And what does that sound like, man? That sounds like the MOTB system, man. That sounds like the CBDCs, man. See, a lot of people think that it's going to be, because, when you start to tell Jake this information, you start to warn them about the MOTB and so on and so forth, they start to get into a spirit of, man, I ain't going to take that shit. I'm not going to do that. Well, you don't know that, man, because the scripture says he's going to cause all. It's going to be the hour of temptation, which is going to come upon all the world to try them. So you might say right now, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to do that. But when that time comes and you're hungry and you haven't eaten in a week and you haven't paid your car note and you're on the verge of getting kicked out your apartment because you're not able to pay your rent, you're going to be like, you know what? This is when the public is going to be convinced that certain expert people should take control of the money system and reestablish security. They're going to be like, you know what? I need a solution. I need something to know. Like, I need something. I want things to go back to normal. And that's what people want, man. They're going to want security. They're going to want the government to reestablish security, man. You see? And a lot of people are going to fold under pressure. That's why you got to take this truth serious right now, man. That's why we're blowing the trumpet right now and warning you of these things, man. Because the judgment for taking the MOTB is going to be destruction, man. Revelation 14 and 9. You could go and read it for yourself, man. All right. So basically, this devil, he's going to put it to where you're going to want to take this, man. You're going to be convinced that they should take control of the money system and reestablish security, man. And what that essentially is going to do is make you into a slave. Because it says, when the subject citizens are rendered unable to control their financial affairs, they, of course, become totally enslaved, a source of cheap labor. And that's what's going to happen to you people, man. Right? You're gonna become a source of cheap labor, man. You're gonna literally just be a slave, man. Like it says right here, Exodus 21 and 6. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him unto the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Which this is what Esau Edom, is gonna do digitally, man. He's gonna put that digital all in you, man. Because this is a law going into how, if a servant wanted to stay with his master and continue to serve him, basically saying like, I love my master, I want to continue serving my master, well, then the master would bring him unto the judges and bore his ear through with an awl, which signified that he would serve him forever. So what this devil is going to do is he's going to put that digital awl on you, man. He's going to, prick you with that MOTB. He's going to put that inside you. All right. And it's going to be a brand of ownership. It's going to mean that you're his slave now. All right. Because when you go into Revelation 13 and 18, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 303 score and 6. Now, when you go into that word for 603 score and 6, and you click on the word stigma, it says mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. And when you go into the Strong's definition, it says to stick, in other words, prick, a mark incised or punched for recognition of ownership. In other words, scar of service. So you're basically, when they put this inside you, that's going to be basically recognition of ownership. You're going to be owned by them. They're going to own you. They're going to be able to control everything that you do, all your financial activity. You're going to be connected to the Internet of Things, man. You see, you're no longer going to have any privacy. Nothing. All your whole life story is going to be there, man. They're going to be able to track you, turn off your money if you've been talking shit. They're going to be able to do all of that, man. All your information is going to be in the MOTB, man. From your social security number to your medical records to how many times. Hey, man, we read it in this book. That they know how long it takes you to get to the store. They know your ethnicity. They know when you lost your job, when you got a new job, when you moved, when you declared bankruptcy, your job history, how much money you carry in your wallet, how long it takes you to get to the store, which part of town you live in, if you were married and had kids. So these niggas know everything about you, man. Esau Edom got you pinned down with these predictive analytics and all this information that they have. Ultimately is, with this information, they're able to have an insight of your life, man. They're able to track everything about you, man. It says also There are data peddlers such as Infinigraph that listen to shoppers' online conversations on message boards and internet forums and track which products people mention favorably. A firm named Rapleaf sells information on shoppers' political leanings, so they know what type of politics you favor, man. Reading habits, so they know what type of books you're reading. Charitable giving, the number of cars they own, and whether they prefer religious news or deals on cigarettes. Other companies analyze photos that consumers post online, cataloging if they are obese or skinny, short or tall, hairy or bald, or what kinds of products they might want to buy as a result. So basically they got you down to a T, man. They know everything about you. But the missing link is you. All right. As soon as you take this MOTB, that's it, man. That's gonna create that digital tether between the Esau Edom, the government, the Federal Reserve, or whoever, and the citizens, and they're gonna be able to control everything that you do, man. All right. You're gonna be connected to the Internet of Things, man. Which, I had this video right here. I'll most likely just put the link in the description. But the Internet of Things, Esau Edom has somehow created with his technology, a way for all these different technologies and different things to communicate with each other. You got smart homes now, and homes that you don't even need to you don't need a so-called key, a physical key. You just need to have a digital CHARAGMA or a chip inside you, man. You see? And there's, you're going to be basically connected into the Internet of Things, man. You're going to be a part of the system. You're going to be a part of everything. All right? So, Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. Let me see if I have anything else. Nah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Or you know what, actually? There was one more thing that I wanted to get, man, because right now, everything that's going on, Esau Edom is basically using, he's wearing people out. He's wearing people out so that eventually they just give up their freedoms, their so-called freedoms, and just give in to this new system, man. But it says right here, social engineering, the analysis and automation of a society, requires the correlation of great amounts of constantly changing economic information, data. So a high-speed computerized data processing system was necessary, which could race ahead of the society and predict when society would arrive for capitulation. So let's go look up what the word capitulation means. A form of surrender. So basically, Esau Edom needed to wait until his technology was on par with his plans. And now that his technology is on steroids, so to speak, because, now they have quantum computers and AI and, artificial intelligence and so on and so forth. And you got to imagine, man, all this economic information is being pumped into those computers, and those computers are racing ahead of society and predicting when society would arrive for surrender, when basically society would be ready to give up their rights, when society would basically be convinced that certain expert people should take control of the money. You see? And look, man, this has always been the plan. I have this article right here from August 1st, 1989. Just keep that in mind. August 1st, 1989. This has always been the plan. It says, Big Brother's coming. Revealed. Secret plan to tag every man, woman, and child. It says coded micro C hips implanted in every person in the country would tie all of us into a master computer that could track anyone down at any moment, and plans for such a system are already underway, whether you like it or not. And this was back in 1989, man. Think about that. It says the secret scheme is being touted as a service for the protection of the people by high government officials, but some insiders who object to the move say it's just another way for Big Brother to control its I don't know what it says right there. It's blocked out. And it says top level national security agents are trying to convince sources in the Bush administration to begin the project in which every man, woman, and child will be implanted with a tiny transmitter, claims Davis Millerand, a critic of government intervention, who says he has received leak information from inside sources. They're trying to say this will be a good way for authorities to quickly track down missing persons and children's, as well as criminals and spies. It says injections. But with the astounding technology of today, everything about you could be contained in one tiny micro C hip, which would be connected to a government computer. Any government agency will know what any person has done and is doing at any time. Other sources say the tiny transmitters can be injected painlessly from a tiny gun in humans without them even knowing. Damn, bro. So this has always been the plan, man. The plan has always been to be able to track people, to be able to, know everything about you and predict you but now that Esau Edom has the technology to actually do this, now he's going haywire with it, man. And he can't wait to implement this MOTB, man. He can't wait, for this MOTB technology and the MOTB to be implemented, man. He can't wait, man. You see? He's literally fiending to put the, to bring this, to implement this system, man. Because he knows that he's running out of time. And that's how we know that we're getting closer and closer to the end, man. All right, because this is the next step in prophecy that we're watching for, that we're waiting for, man. Because before World War III and the nuclear destruction comes and the second coming of the Lord, before Yahushua comes, this MOTB technology is going to have to be put in place, man. The hour of temptation and all of that is going to come, all right? And when that starts to happen, man, expect the prophecies to go into hyperdrive, man. Because as soon as the MOTB gets put gets made mandatory, man, we're about to see things move even faster, man. All right? So the next step that we're waiting for is this MOTB, man. All right? So with that, Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruchakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who taught us truth. Shalom and abba.